This Sports Plus conversation is sponsored by your Quality Ford dealers. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 47 years.
Shawn Michaels is one of the most famous wrestlers of all time. He's now creating and developing talent for the WWE. They have a big card here in town on October 8th at Enterprise. So we thought tonight would be a great time to have a Sunday conversation with the Hall of Fame wrestler. With the help of our wrestling expert, Jacob Kurth, we give you the interview. And it's a pleasure to welcome the great Shawn Michaels to Sports Plus. Let's start with one of the most iconic matches in WWE history. It happened right here in St. Louis, 1997, Hell in a Cell against The Undertaker. Take us back there, Shawn. How do you remember it?
Well, look, it started out as a pretty solemn day when it all started. We had received some, news of Brian Pillman's passing that earlier that day. But again, it was the first Hell in a Cell match ever in the WWE. Myself and The Undertaker. One of the stories that, of course, I remember is, that back then it was on pay-per-view. You had a certain amount of time. And there was probably 55 minutes, almost an hour left in the entire show. And Taker and I were up, and I can remember thinking, like, man, 55 minutes is a long time to last with that big man in the cell. And I looked over and I said, we got 55 minutes, big man. He said, I'll walk slow. Getting on the top of that cell was my goal at the time, which obviously I was fortunate enough to do. The landing, falling from the top was not the greatest, but exciting night. And then I went on to spend several hours in the ER getting the stitches in my head from the result of that match.
So you knew, I think, at a young age that this would be your profession. Didn't you perform at a talent show when you were like 12 with real blood?
So, well, now again, I started watching when I was 12. When I did the talent show, I was a senior in high school with my best friend Kenny. We put it on, and it was food coloring. I had food coloring. He hit me in the head with a chair. I went underneath the table, put food coloring on my head. It was a spectacular event, but we did not get first place. We lost to the cheerleaders, and we brought home the silver medal, which to this day still bothers us both a great deal.
Hey, I've always wondered about the relationships you've had with other wrestlers. I mean, you've had that great rivalry with Bret Hart, great matches with John Cena. Are you friends with those guys, or did it ever get personal and you really didn't like them?
Sure. There's lots of times, again, the feud that you have on television can spill over into the backstage, and sometimes that makes for the best television. Certainly, there's been a storied rivalry between Bret Hart and myself that kind of delved into real life as well. Obviously, all these years later, we're all grown men and more mature and get along great. But I think for the most part, it's kind of strange. The guys that you get along with the best, you also have the best chemistry with out there from a performance standpoint. I think it's like any line of work. Some people you like, some people you're friends, other people you just don't have that much in common with. It's but it's a fascinating job. No matter what anybody says, it's unbelievably a great way to make a living for a kid that barely graduated high school.
What about the high of performing at these WrestleManias? 70,000 people going crazy. Can you describe it?
It's kind of hard to describe, but I will say it is. It's everything that I think people believe that it is. It's an unbelievable feeling. It's also a great sense of accomplishment, and that's something that here in NXT, everybody that comes to our doors, that's their ultimate goal. That's their ultimate dream, is to be able to stand in that stadium with 70, 80, 100,000 people.
Shawn, what about the people that were rooting against you, the people who booed you? I can tell you're a real likable guy, but some of the terrible things you may have heard from fans.
Well, I'll tell you what, almost anybody will tell you being a bad guy is probably one of the most joyful things of the job sometimes. I think everybody wants to be a bad guy at one time in their career just because it's an awful lot of fun.
So you've been very candid about the demons that you've had to overcome in your life, drugs and alcohol. Are you as proud of doing that as you are about what you accomplished in the ring?
Yes, certainly. I guess I'll say this. It's something that is just the right thing to do. So I don't know. I guess I I'm proud of it, but at the same time, I have a hard time kind of patting myself on the back for becoming a responsible human being. One of the things that past has allowed me to do is to be able to, I don't know, appreciate one, what it is that I have, but also to help other people that are struggling, maybe not in the same way, but this job and just life in and of itself can be a great deal of pressure and can do a lot on young minds. And so something that I try to do is use whatever I've gone through in the past and use that to help some of these future talents that we have that come through NXT.
Shawn, you now oversee WWE's developmental program. What does a day look like for you?
Well, I guess today looks like spending a lot of time in the creative room, to be perfectly honest. A lot of it is obviously coming up with 2 hours of television, 52 weeks a year is pretty challenging. And then, of course, we have the coaching and the development of all of our current superstars. We also are out recruiting athletes from around the world. So there's weekly meetings on that, looking into that recruiting, setting up those tryouts, beginning to scout, for the talent that's potentially going to come through these doors, while also nurturing the ones that are currently here. So a day in the life of is a mixed bag of a lot of different things about the talent development of each individual that comes through our doors.
You are the best. Thank you so much. We'll see you in St. Louis soon.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
All righty.